professional soccer player impact your life?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, well, becoming a professional soccer player is kind of your life. It's your priority. So everything you do during the day, it's involved with the soccer club that you play for. So, for example, I'll tell you what my routine was on a daily basis. So I wake up at like 6 in the morning, go for a jog, like half an hour to 45 minutes, run, stretch. Then I'll go and eat breakfast, change, eat breakfast, get ready for my morning session with the club team. And that was done with the team, with the coaches. So it was more of a physical training in the morning from 9:30, 10 all the way to like 12. And then after we're done, we're gonna the club, then we have to go eat lunch. Then after that, take rest for 2, 3 hours. Then it's the evening session. We practice twice a day at least. So the evening practice, we practice for like 4:35 or to like 7 o'clock. And then after you're done with the team, you always want to stay a little bit over the practice because that's when you do your individual workout. So you work on your strength, you work on your speed, you work on your agility, you work on ball control if you have to. Depends on what you think that you want to get better at, that you may be lacking a little bit. So you always work on something. And once you're done with that, then of course you leave, you go home, you rest a little bit. So that was basically a daily routine.
What years, like how old were you when you were playing
Well, I started playing at 8 years old. 8.
No, I meant
But professionally, I turned at 17. So I was 17. Just 2, 3 months before I turned 18 years old. So when I was 18, I was actually on the team.
So when did you retire?
Well, it's not that I retired. This happened when I was back in Europe, in Albania. Then I came to the United States. And here at the time, I pursued to go to college. So I was playing college soccer. And summer times, I was practicing with Metro Stars. So after I finished college here, I actually continued to play semi-professional teams. I didn't go back to playing professional.
Did you get nervous before playing games?
Yes, every game. I still do sometimes. It's part of the whole game. You know, you're always thinking about it the night before, especially if it's a big game. But if it's not, every game is a big game. So you're always thinking about it. You're thinking about your past mistakes. You're like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. You're trying to like better yourself and then create the mindset for the next game. So you're always nervous, especially when you get in the field the first 10 minutes to 15 minutes. You're always trying to get a feel for the game and how's it going. And once you get in the rhythm of it, then everything becomes easy.
Okay. What is the best game you've ever played?
Wow, that's a tough question. Um, well, I'm gonna mention this because this was my kind of like the game that like put me on the map. When I started playing, I was a young player, so I was always on the bench. You know, at professional level, they don't put you as a starting, at that age. So you always gotta work your way up, and you always gotta prove yourself that you're actually worthy of being on the team, especially at that level. So I was always on the bench, and then when there was this game, it was tight, and the coach decided to put me in for the last 20 minutes. So of course I was nervous. I get in, and within first 10 minutes, I had no idea what I was doing. At least I thought I didn't have any idea, but I was so into the game that I wasn't aware of everything else outside of it. And then after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, the game was going on. The cross came from the left side. I ran on the right and hit the ball in the air, and it went in, and I scored. So that was the winning goal. So after that, I was happy. Everybody was happy. We won the game 2-1. But that was how I proved myself to the coach and to the team that I was worthy of being in the team, that I was worthy playing on that level. So after that game, every game after that, I was being put in the game. The coach was giving me more playing time, and I kept getting better after that. So that moment there, I think that's my most important.
Okay. What did you do after games?
Well, after games, I always stayed a little bit later after the game. I made sure that I stretched properly after, especially when you have an intensive game and you're playing for the whole game, or for most of it at least. Your muscles get really sore because you're always running. So you want to make sure after the game that you're still warm, you stretch your muscles, okay?
Okay.
And then that makes you get better even physically. You get in better physical form, so you know muscles all stretch. You don't get any injuries the next day.
Okay.
So that was always important to me. So I always stayed half an hour after the game just to stretch and relax.
Did you have a rival team?
Yes, we actually had. Um, I was I was I was fortunate enough to play on one of the top three teams in the country because I was born in that town. I grew up in that town, and you know it was just a privilege to play for them. So we actually, well, me playing through the stages, U14, U16, U18, we actually won the championship for our country. So we were a top team in the country, and our rival teams were two teams that were from the capital. You know, they were big teams. You know, very well known in Albania. And they had won prior to us. They had won several years in a row. So beating them in the final and winning the state championship was very important to us, and that kind of like pushed us to do even better the following years.
So how are those games different than regular games?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say different. To me, every game it's an important game. I never felt that a game that I played it wasn't important enough. I always had that drive that if I was in the game, I wanted to give my best at every game, and I wanted to do well, and I wanted to win everything. And it wasn't to prove myself that I was good. It was because I felt like it was a reward of my hard work that I did throughout the week. So I'll practice the whole week. We only play once a week. It was on weekend. It was either Saturday or Sunday game. And of course, over there, the culture it was a little bit different. We had a lot of people come to the stadium and watch the game. So it wasn't just about me. It was also for the fans that would come and watch the games. So you always wanted to be on top of your game. You always wanted to give your best. So when you finish the game and you walk in the streets, people see you, and you know they'll not say any negative things to you, but they'll say, "Hey, good job."
Okay, I'm finished. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Thank